You're scrolling through Instagram on a Friday night, and you see it, a group photo. Your friends, at dinner, together, and you weren't invited. Your stomach drops, your chest gets tight, you lock the phone and stare at the ceiling for a while.
Why does this hurt so much?
What nobody knew until recently is that your brain just processed that moment the exact same way it would process a broken bone. Not metaphorically, literally. The same neural wiring, the same pain circuitry, the same alarm system screaming that something is wrong. You know the feeling, that heavy, hollow weight in your chest after someone cuts you out, after you get left on red for the third day in a row, after you realize the group moved on without you. You can't focus. You keep replaying the moment, scanning for what you did wrong. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, that you're being dramatic.
You're not being dramatic.
But your body won't cooperate. Your appetite vanishes. Your sleep fragments into shallow, restless hours. You feel it in your muscles, in your gut, behind your eyes. Your heart rate doesn't spike the way it would if you were scared. It actually slows down. A sudden parasympathetic break, like the rhythm itself is faltering. Researchers have measured this. Unexpected rejection literally decelerates the heartbeat. That sensation of your chest dropping, it's not poetic, it's cardiovascular. There's a reason rejection sits in your body like this. It's not in your head, it's in your nervous system. There's a reason it feels physical, because to your brain, it is. In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger and her team at UCLA designed an experiment that would rewrite what we know about social pain. They put participants inside an fMRI scanner and had them play a simple virtual ball tossing game called Cyberball. The setup was straightforward. You're tossing a ball back and forth with two other players, except the other players aren't real. They're a computer program, and after a few throws, they stop passing to you entirely. They just cut you out. It's a video game. You know it shouldn't matter, but the brain scans told a different story. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the region that processes the distress of physical pain, how much an injury actually bothers you, fired hard during exclusion. And the correlation between that neural activity and how hurt people reported feeling, 0.88. That's not a weak signal. That's a near perfect match between brain activation and reported pain. And it wasn't a fluke. A later meta-analysis confirmed the same pattern across 46 fMRI studies and 940 participants. That's not a rounding error, by the way. That's rejection and pain wired into the same circuit. This is where the research takes a turn nobody expected. Psychologist Kross wanted to push further. Cyberball was a video game. What happens when the rejection is devastating? Real heartbreak, the kind that keeps you awake for months. He recruited 40 people who had been through unwanted breakups. Inside the scanner, they did two things. They looked at photos of the person who left them, and separately, they received painful heat applied directly to their forearm. Both tasks activated the same somatosensory regions, the areas your brain uses to map where physical pain lives on your body.
Same brain regions, both conditions.
The overlap was so precise, it predicted actual physical pain with 88% accuracy. And no, that's not a rounding error. Heartbreak literally registers on the body's pain map. There's a reason this next study is still talked about over a decade later. The experiment that stunned researchers came from C. Nathan DeWall at the University of Kentucky. He asked a question that sounded almost ridiculous. If social pain uses the same hardware as physical pain, could you treat it with a physical painkiller? He gave one group 1,000 milligrams of acetaminophen daily for 3 weeks. The other group got a sugar pill. By day 9, the Tylenol group was reporting significantly fewer hurt feelings. By day 21, the gap was clear. Then he put a second group through brain scans after 3 weeks on the drug. Reduced firing in the dACC, the anterior insula, and the amygdala. An over-the-counter painkiller, the same one you take for a headache, was dulling the sting of social rejection. A $1.50 bottle of Tylenol, partially treating heartbreak. So yeah, the overlap is real. The same neural wiring that once protected your ancestors from predators is now firing because you weren't added to a group chat. So why would your brain do this on purpose? Why would evolution wire rejection directly into the pain circuitry, making a cold shoulder feel like a cracked rib? Researchers Jeff McDonald and Mark Leary laid it out in 2005. For your ancestors, getting cast out of the group wasn't embarrassing. It was a death sentence. No tribe meant no shared food, no defense against predators, no help raising offspring. An isolated human on the savannah was a temporary human. Your brain needed an alarm so unbearable, so impossible to tune out, that it would force you to do whatever it took to get back in. Building a brand new neural network for that? Too expensive, too slow. The real question is what was already available. So, evolution took a shortcut. It plugged social exclusion directly into the pain circuitry that already existed for physical injuries. Same alarm, same urgency, different trigger. Your brain treats isolation like a wound because for most of human history, it was one. So the next time you feel that hollow ache after being excluded, after being ghosted, after watching the group carry on without you, know this: the pain is real. That doesn't make you weak or dramatic or broken. Your brain is doing exactly what millions of years of evolution designed it to do. It's sounding an alarm that used to keep you alive. And this isn't just your experience. Every person walking around right now carries this same ancient wiring. Every unreturned text, every awkward silence, every empty chair at the table trips the same circuit that once meant survival or death. The wiring hasn't caught up to a world where being left out of a dinner party isn't a death sentence, but your brain hasn't gotten that update yet. If this changed how you think about rejection, hit subscribe. Next week, we're getting into why your brain replays your most embarrassing moments on loop even years later.